everyone? Hey, how you doing? It's Matt Sella, and today we are doing another episode review for The Owl House, Season 1, Episode 2, dubbed Witches Before Wizards. I am joined here via satellite radio, all the way from the magical land of Ooh. It's Marc. How you doing out there, Marc?
Darn it, I'm at the wrong friggin' never trust a travel agent. That's also a no. You want to go to the Boiling Isles, they send you to Ooh.
I'm sorry to hear that, but luckily we're still in connection here. So anyway, folks, we're going to be talking about this latest episode, which can be seen on Disney Channel and all that stuff. But before we begin, I've noticed I've been forgetting to do this lately. This channel is not meant for kids. I've tried to make that clear before. We are adults, animators, artists, appreciators, and all that.
Connoisseurs.
And we're talking about the criticism and the craft of making such animation. So probably would not be appealing for kids. So if you are a kid, get the hell out of here.
Grown-ups are talking about cartoons now. Get out, kids.
Are you ready, Marc?
Aye, aye, Captain.
I can actually hear you, so why don't you let the fine folks here know what is the synopsis for this particular episode they may have or may have not watched.
Well, Matt, waking up bright and early, Luz is ready to really get her witch apprenticeship underway. But unfortunately, Ida still hasn't had her cup of apple blood. She then sends her on a delivery quest for her homemade potions and stuff, and on the way meets an ancient wizard who gives her a map, believes she could be the chosen one. Luz is pretty captivated by this because, quite honestly, she doesn't really appreciated by Ida, and together with King they go on a magical quest of delivery and discovery.
And that's the general synopsis for this episode. So I guess I will start off with some of the positives here. I really think I enjoyed this episode more than the pilot episode, mainly because it really did feel like we were finally going on an adventure of some sort. Obviously, it's a mystical quest. And so we got to see a little bit more of the world, sort of. And I thought Luz was really adorable in this episode. Like, she really wanted to live out the fantasies of going on a quest, discovering new things, and like gaining a mystical item or two. And I don't know, I just found it overall quite delightful. And the story was interesting enough where we had ourselves a wizard allegedly give this quest. And a lot of things are revealed in this world that might not be quite up Luz's alley. Did you have any other thoughts, Marc?
Well, I kind of second that, Matt. It was kind of, with the first episode, you're establishing stuff, but like, if this is what the show is going to bring us moving forward, I'm definitely more on board than I already was before. I thought the humor played a lot better in this episode as well. That was a bit of a critique for me on the first episode. I didn't think all the jokes landed. Thought this one was really fun. And I think even just visually, there's a few moments where the animation really shines here. I think you'll probably bring that up a little bit, but also just really fun and weird creature design. It's really holding on to that. You know, this is just a weird place. It's not afraid to have ugly characters.
Oh yeah, for sure. And the animation has been very consistent. I think you and we definitely agree on that. And there was one particular part, we were talking about this before we started recording. There were a couple moments in DuckTales where they had consistent animation, but once in a while they would let this one animator like really have the characters act out a dialogue scene. And those have been pretty good for what they are. I don't think they're all great in multiple uses, but they're really good animation. Here in The Owl House, there's one particular shot, it's not really a spoiler, even though we kind of go through the whole episode, is eventually she reaches a magical item and a bridge appears and she says a certain dialogue saying like, or she said like, I knew there were wonders here. I must really be the chosen one or something like that. And she does this on one style animation where she kind of like skips about. And I thought the way they animated that was fantastic. It wasn't too much. It was subtle enough, but fluid. And it really matched the character of Luz and the situation. So kudos to those animators doing a job like that. It's fantastic. I really like subtleties and moments to really shine like that.
Yeah, I agree, Matt, and it's a real shame. I can't remember the name of the animator from DuckTales who's usually in charge of those scenes, but we've mentioned him before on the show in our DuckTales reviews and given him props for that. So look him up. He's a wonderful talent, and he even sometimes occasionally posts some roughs online. It's amazing they allow him to do that. But great fellow there. Don't know if he was also responsible for this one, but it did have that feel to it. But also, I have to say, some of the backgrounds in this episode, too, were really fun to look at. I'm not sure who would be responsible for that, but I like that this show has just, and I think this is overarching, just a real solid art direction overall.
And I agree with that testament, actually. I was actually looking over the backgrounds as you were mentioning that, and I know it's like not really fair to do comparisons and all that, but I do like how the fact that a lot of the shots do kind of remind me of Adventure Time in a way. So it has that like organic, lived in, simplified, but really quirky design to it that fits perfectly well with Luz, Ida, and King.
Oh yeah, this is a lived in world. Like it's very amazing how well it just everything and well thought out. Everything seems to function. It's amazing the detail that you can find in this show. Just to talk about the episode specifically, there's some real fun characters Luz meets along the way, or at least she thinks she meets along the way. One of them is this edgy prince, a teenage prince, and it's just real funny there. Luz gets some fan service and, good for her. And there's a cat and a fairy, and it's just like, it's funny how almost cliche it is almost in a way but like that's what she's looking for.
It really is. And what's funny about it too is like she did technically meet a fairy the first time she came to the Boiling Isles, but then quickly this journey she goes on, she actually sees the ideal version of a fairy she would come to expect.
That's right. Didn't it want to eat her skin?
It did. In the first episode, it wanted to eat her skin.
Yeah, boy, she's okay. Did we find a continuity? No, I'm kidding.
But yeah, in terms of positives, I think overall this was just a very positive, fun episode to watch. In terms of negativities, I honestly don't know if I have one. I would really have to rewatch the episode a couple times just to see if there was anything that could stand out for me. But honestly, I just had fun watching it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I think that's definitely this show's strength. It's just a fun watch, and it's just really great in capturing that essence. If I were to say one thing, maybe you could have done this as a two-parter with this episode ending on some dread and uncertainty and then having the reveal of the monster in the following episode, because maybe that wrapped up a little quick. But it's also just funny because it did that. This episode really boiled down to two competing Etsy shop owners, selling potions and being competitive in that way. That was the motivation for your big evil entity in this episode, kind of. And it's just
for sure. I definitely echo those sentiments there. And yeah, I like the fact that the real reason behind all this, it's pretty mundane and grounded. So that's kind of a cup of fresh air when it comes to these mystical settings and storylines. And I'll say that'll do it for our review for Season 1, Episode 2 of The Owl House, dubbed Witches Before Wizards.
Yeah.
You heard our opinion, but now we want to hear yours. Let us know in the comments section below. Have you seen this latest episode, and did you like it? Did you not like it? Share your thoughts. Join the conversation. If you like reviews just like this, be sure to subscribe to my podcast channel, ring that bell to be notified when new videos drop, like this video, and if you want to support me directly, please consider going to my Patreon and donate. As little as $1 a month will help go towards my podcast channel, art, animation, and content made just for you. Links in the description below. This is Matt Sella.
This is Marc.
And we're thanking you all for tuning in.